Twins with a rare complete team victory tonight. Pitching, hitting, top to bottom. This one had it all. Final score versus the Cubs. Game 1, 8-1. Full deep dive coming up next. Minnesota Twins postcast.
This is the Twins postcast. Your instant game reaction for the Minnesota Twins. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's going on? Back in the lab, back at it. Another Minnesota Twins postcast right here. Locked On Sports Minnesota Network. Your team every day. Luke Inman at Luke_Spinman. Got my main man riding shotgun. Sweet Lou Hennessy. Give him a follow on X at Sweet Lou MN Twins expert over at Zone Coverage MN. This was the night to be at Target Field, was it not? Not only did they win, which we'll get into all that, but Stranger Things night, the hit show on Netflix everybody loves. Plus, don't forget Joe Ryan bobblehead night as well. Huge fun at the Target Field for the home crowd tonight, Lou. I mean, before the first pitch was even thrown, it felt like, but fun for all ages out there tonight.
Cubs, they always draw very well at Target Field.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Midwesterners who claim them either as their first or second favorite team, so they always travel pretty well to Target Field. I want to say it was 30,000 strong tonight at the ballpark. Gorgeous night. Luckily, the Twins came around, and they came around late in a big way.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Lots to get into. Again, Twins with a complete team victory, top to bottom, plus hand out our game MVP. Biggest turning point tonight. But first, quick reminder, tonight's episode brought to us by Game Time. Game Time, download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. All right, quick little recap. If you missed it, Twins Cubbies, Game 1 at Target Field, right in the middle of this 9-game homestand, by the way. 5 more to go after this. Twins get up a quick 2-0 in the first inning. Jeffers and Royce Lewis both with an RBI each. That obviously helped out Simeon Woods-Richardson, gave him a little confidence. He was rock solid again. Back-to-back starts. He's been very dependable for those 5 innings on the mound. 5 innings, a 2-hitter. Had 3 walks, 4 Ks, but got out of all his jams when he needed to the most. Fast forward to the 8th inning, still 2-0. Twins just decide to flip the switch and go loco at the plate. Jeffers and Castro, they started back-to-back bombs. That made it 5-0. Royce Lewis, another RBI. And then Harrison Bader goes deep too. So 6 runs before they even recorded a single out. 8-0 going into the 9th. Cubs get a cheap little solo shot. 8-1, that's your final. 44-47 now on the year. 3 games below 500. What stuck out? Biggest takeaways, kind of your 8 topics from tonight.
You said it. It's Stranger Things night, and it was pretty strange to see so many hits with guys on base. That's something that we just have not seen. This team, we have not seen this offense be able to really break through in a big way and execute their offensive game plan to precision like they did tonight. I think everybody in the starting lineup here got a hit except for Ty France. A 3-hit night from Ryan Jeffers. That's huge for him, especially coming as the DH here. Christian Vasquez, great defensive catcher, provides very little with the bat. So when you have Jeffers in there DHing, it's pivotal that he gets a few hits, and he did exactly that tonight. So big game from him.
Let's get into our biggest turning point from tonight.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
Again, always feels great to be a quick 2-0 in the first. Again, kind of foreign territory for this Twins team, to be honest, this year. But 2-0 all the way into the 8th inning. Then again, kind of stepped on the gas a little bit. What was the biggest turning point, though, from your lens for the people who may have missed this one?
I mean, it's hard to say anything except for that 6-run 8th inning. That's a breath of fresh air for this team for sure, to not only get some insurance runs, but a bunch of them, a whole big bundle of them. So the turning point, I will probably say even just going from a 2-run lead to a 4-run lead with that home run. I mean, that's crucial. The Twins record when they score at least 4 runs is pretty good. And if they score less than 4, it's absolutely abysmal. So getting to that 4-run lead, I think, was the biggest turning point in tonight's game.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
I feel like it's been a while since we could say there's multiple strong options here for our player of the game, but I'm going to put you on the hot seat. You can only pick one, Lou. Tonight's game MVP. Who was it and why?
I'll give it to RJ. Let's go Ryan Jeffers as the DH. Like you said, 3 hits, 3 RBI, hitting at the top of the order, just behind Buxton there. Proved to be quite a lethal combo right from the get-go with 2 doubles back-to-back. I mean, that is the blueprint for what they're doing here with Ryan Jeffers. Would love to give an honorable mention to Simeon Woods-Richardson, who has been absolute dynamite for 4 or 5 starts now. He has an ERA under 2 in that time. I think his ERA on the season is down to 4.08, which was in the mid-5s a few weeks ago. So he has done a spectacular job of digging himself out of that hole that he was in kind of in the second, third month of the season there.
Yeah, well said there. Plenty more deep dive. Who could have a huge second half to the season, plus a preview of Game 2 tomorrow night? That's all coming up right after this. Quick reminder, tonight's episode brought to us by FanDuel. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, an official sportsbook partner of the MLB. Right now, FanDuel is giving you a chance at a huge return, $200 in bonus bets, guaranteed when you win your first $5 wager. Why I love FanDuel. When you get the hunch in the middle of the game, you go check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more, all on the same page where you place your bets. Again, $200 in bonus bets, guaranteed when you win your first $5 wager. Go check it all out over at FanDuel.com. Get some MLB future action if you dare. Twins sitting at plus 700 right now to win the AL Central. It's all sitting up over at FanDuel.com. Again, check it all out over at FanDuel.com and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you win your first $5 wager. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, an official sportsbook partner of the MLB. All right, let me pose this question here. 5 games left before the All-Star break. Which guy, pitcher or somebody at the plate for that matter, could be anybody, are you just kind of feeling a strong second half to the season, just from everything we've seen the past few weeks? Whose stock is pointed up? Like, which guy is kind of giving you the spidey senses right now and is just kind of really starting to heat up? And, if they're going to get hot again, right? I'm just thinking about the second half. If they're going to get hot and get serious and go on another – it doesn't need to be a 13-game win streak, but put together a nice string of victories. This is the guy you think has to be a big piece to the puzzle.
I think if they're going to go on any sort of run like that, it's going to have to be a handful of guys that really step up here. But I do expect that if that were to happen, it's got to be from some of their, marquee players. I'm talking Carlos Correa, who had 2 hits tonight. We'll give him that. Yeah. Royce Lewis finding his footing and remaining healthy. I mean, those are going to be the biggest kind of additions they can make, or the biggest run they can go on, is if those 2 star players really start stepping up to expectations here. Of course, you want the prolonged production from Byron Buxton. Willi Castro has been another nice surprise, but I'm going to go with those middle of the order right-handed bats in Carlos Correa and Royce Lewis. If at least one of them could return to their, form from last year in 2023, that would be huge. That would be the biggest thing to probably benefit this team.
Did I miss the MLB draft? I know we previewed it. Feel like maybe it's a couple more days away.
Yep, it's on Sunday.
It's on last Sunday
before the All-Star break. Yep.
Has anything changed? Are you hearing any, intel, any new mock drafts you've read, anything that we can just kind of touch on and preview, I guess, a little bit? Part 2, as far as where we ended the first time we previewed this. I want to say it was last week, maybe 5-6 shows or so ago. Anything that you're just kind of leaning on or gleaning, I guess, as far as what the Twins could do? Again, tough spot, as we have already talked about it, kind of drafting right in the middle of the first round. So tough to say, hey, if you get one of these top 4, 5, 6 prospects, you're in good hands. But anything new that you can share, or maybe even a new target, a new guy that you've kind of fallen in love, a draft crush, if you will.
Okay, my draft crush, I said it last week. His name is Ike Irish. He is he played a lot of outfield in college. Great ring to it. Of course, you need an 80 grade baseball name, but one of the better college bats in this draft. There's a good chance he goes before the Twins pick, which is, I believe, 16 in the first round. So he's somebody who's kind of projected in that kind of top 10 to 15 range. But if he were to fall down a couple spots, I would be very intrigued with him. Polished bat, a lot of power. He even did. He's a catcher as well, but I think that there's some question marks about if he would remain behind the dish. Even if he doesn't, it would be a big swing for a big hitter. So I'd keep my eye on Ike Irish. I don't know. I'm starting to pay attention to a lot more of the mock drafts that are coming out. The middle of the first round can be tricky to pin down until you see some of those first picks, because there's always at least 1 or 2 surprises in the top 5, 6. It feels like.
Yeah, and then the big domino effect, the big snowball effect. Who's who's still available that shouldn't be there, but maybe it's not a guy that we really even thought about taking. Now we're on the spot. We got 10 minutes to decide.
Yep.
Ike Irish, I got no idea his physical appearance. I'm just picturing an old school. Remember Raleigh Fingers? Maybe you do, maybe you don't.
Yep.
That handlebar mustache going on. I just feel like a name like Ike Irish has got to have an attribute like that Raleigh Fingers stash going on. It just feels like it's just meant to be. It feels like nerdy stat of the day. Any crazy stat, fun analytic, Twins related tonight? What do you got?
Yeah, so there's a lot of chatter online with tonight's game with Simeon Woods Richardson having a pretty promising start, but coming out after 5 innings and just 61 pitches. Everybody knows why. It's because the Twins are trying to avoid him facing batters for a third time, in which case he's been either protected for him, or when he's not protected, he's been hit pretty hard in those instances. So they're trying to avoid that. But I thought if he had just a little more run support, some of those runs from the 6-run 8th inning, if they could have gotten some of those earlier, maybe they would have left him in to experiment, because the Cubs would have been a really good team to do that against. For as good as this offense is, when it comes to the average, the team's batting average for the third time through the order, the Cubs are 26th in baseball. That's first with a 229 average. Care to guess who's 30th on that list? Dead last?
Probably some team in the AL Central. Maybe they rock the blue and red, perhaps. Maybe they just had a Joe Ryan bobblehead tonight.
Yes, the Minnesota Twins batting 219 third time through the order. So
that's
an area for some positive regression eventually. Let's hope so. But it's so interesting that the Cubs, who have had this awesome season, they've one of the premier teams in the National League this year, in an offense that has 5 or 6 guys absolutely killing it or deserving of all-star consideration. It's interesting that both teams on two sides of the coin there are in similar territory in that stat.
Yeah, very interesting. Good stuff there for sure. Don't go anywhere. Preview Game 2 versus the Cubs. David Festa on the mound tomorrow night. That's all coming up right after this. Quick reminder, tonight's episode brought to us by Prize Picks. Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app, now with more than 10 million members to date. For me and my money, it's the easiest, most exciting way to get in on all the action while you watch your favorite sports and you watch your favorite players. So simple, too. All you got to do, you pick more or less on 2 or more players' stats. You watch the winning roll in, strikeouts, RBI, stolen bases, home runs, base hits, you name it, they got it. Take your pick on more or less. Add them to your Prize Picks entry today. Plus, they now offer Apple Pay, quick and easy deposits into your account all season long. Download the Prize Picks app. Use code LOCKEDONMLB for $50 instantly with any $5 wager. All right, Game 2 tomorrow. David Festa back on the mound. Give us the scouting report. What you're thinking about as the Twins play 5 more straight at home before the break.
This is going to be a test for Mr. David Festa, who has had kind of an up and down season so far when he's gotten a chance in the big leagues. He's a young pitcher. He's going to have to pitch through some of these ups and downs. The Cubs are a big test, and he's going up against Cade Horton, who is one of the top pitching prospects. He's graduated from their prospect list, but he was a premier top pitching prospect for the Cubs as recently as last year. So fun little test for both young pitchers. Let's hope David Festa can go 4 or 5 deep, pretty clean innings. I think the Twins would gladly take that, especially after tonight's win.
Do you think the same theory applies to Festa that you were just discussing about SWR, as far as if they were to get up, knock on wood, if they were to get up 4 or 5 runs right into that 4th, 5th inning, that they would be maybe a little bit more loosey-goosey, the leash is a little bit looser with David Festa to try to just see what it looks like if he can go another inning or 2, because like we've talked about so much with the young guys, Festa and SWR included, just trying to get those 5 strong innings, trying to get through the order twice, and then, kind of hand it over, I guess, to the relievers. Do you think the same theory would apply?
Maybe eventually. I'm not sure if it would right now necessarily for David Festa. He's somebody who this year they're still on a pretty conservative. They're not on a pitch count necessarily, so I don't want people to see him, even if he does absolutely shine and he comes out after 5 innings and 65 pitches, something like that. They're not pitching these guys until 100 pitches anymore. They're pitching them. They're more basing it off of the how many times they face the opponents and how many up downs they have going between innings, how much time between innings, stuff like that. They're more paying attention to those body signals else than strictly the 100 pitch count. But yeah, that's an interesting question. I think that'll be something that we're going to want to watch between now and the end of the season with David Festa.
Twins with a strong team victory over Chicago. Great pitching top to bottom, great hitting top to bottom, everything clicking on Joe Ryan bobblehead night. 8-1 your final, 44-47 now on the year. Huge shout out to all you guys, all the everydayers out there that always make us your first listen. All you guys coming in the chat with us from game to game. Make sure you like and subscribe and check out all of Lou's work on X at Sweet Lou MN, plus all the work he's always ripping up over at ZoneCoverageMN.com as well. Luke Inman on X at Luke_Spinman. Again, game 2 tomorrow. Festa on the mound. Catch you right here. Same time, same place. Until then, signing out.